You are watching Park TV. Welcome to Monadnock Tonight with your host, Steve Jackson, coming to you live from the Park Theater in downtown Jaffrey, New Hampshire. Join Steve and his guest today, master cellist and direct from Alanya, Turkey, Andrew Katrubas. Now sit back, relax, and here's Steve.
Well, once again, hello, everyone. Hello, and welcome. Happy Thursday, and welcome to the Park Theater and Park TV's Monadnock Tonight. Monadnock Tonight. It is Thursday, November 19th, 2020. It's about 5 p.m. here on the East Coast. This is show number 57. And it's clear and 36 degrees out for those who care to know. And yes, I am Steve Jackson. I'm the CEO of the Park Theater and your host. And as always, we are so glad that you could join us. And this is a special day because today is a very international show. A local performer, regional performer that many of you I know in the audience know well, will be coming to you from Turkey. You will be entertained, I guarantee you. So stay tuned for that. It's going to come up very shortly. But a couple of notes of what's happening at the Park Theater and around our region, because there's a lot of news going on today. The first thing I'd like to tell you, as you probably know, we've been presenting since March. We curate free films that are online. And we take the burden out of finding some gems that maybe you had forgotten or you never knew of that happen to be free online. And then we give you the links to go watch these films. We call that area Park Pixflix. And we have an incredible film this week. It's a stunning piece of acting. And for one of the individual co-stars. It's called No Way Out, and it stars Sidney Poitier and Richard Widmark. It is made in 1950. It focuses on discrimination against an African-American doctor. Definitely the topics were way ahead of their time. Sadly, it had to be ahead of their time. They should have been addressed by Hollywood a lot sooner, and in fact certainly weren't addressed that well even through the 50s and 60s. It took until late 60s and 70s to really turn film around and start to put a mirror and a focus and a microscope on really what racial discrimination in the United States, what was going on. But this is Sidney Poitier's screen debut, and you can see from the moment the first time he comes on the screen, why this guy became a powerhouse actor. Amazing. The performance of Richard Widmark as the racist patient at the hospital is stunning. It is a tour de force, and I'll give you about a minute glimpse of it through this trailer, 1950 trailer. So remember that. And I'll mention a couple of things about the trailer when we come back. But take a look. This is the trailer for No Way Out, 1950.
Couldn't it be you that got killed instead of Johnny?
That's your favorite question, ain't it? Only the last time you asked it wasn't about being dead.
You scum.
It was why couldn't it be you I married to instead of Johnny?
You dirty scum.
What is it, Dr. Brooks? This man has stolen a scalpel. He's got it hidden on him. I want him searched. Hand it over, Biddle.
I ain't got it, Doc.
When you have titles that say this motion picture may never be, what is it, reached again or something? Yeah, the titles were a little crazy on that, shooting for the moon, but this film does deliver. So I highly recommend taking a look at it, especially if you've never seen it. Again, if you have seen it, it may be worth another look. It begins today on Park Pixflix, and you can enjoy it in your own home, on your tablet, on your big screen TV. Just go to parktheater.org and click on Park Pixflix in the upper right-hand corner, or go below our timeline on Facebook, and you're going to see the post for the link of the film today. Plus, we also have some other significant news today that happened a couple of hours ago, and you're going to probably hear about it as soon as if you've been watching the news or tonight's news. But it's something for everybody just to get the word out because it begins tomorrow, and that is New Hampshire has now joined the list of states that are mandating have a mask mandate. Statewide that begins tomorrow. He issued this statewide mask wearing mandate this afternoon, and it will apply to all indoor public spaces and outdoors as well when social distancing cannot be maintained. As I said, it takes effect tomorrow, Friday, November 20th. The governor sadly also announced that today's numbers for the folks that have tested positive for yesterday were 529. That is by far the highest number since the pandemic began in our state. So be careful, wear a mask, and stay healthy. Now, something a little more soothing, and boy, do we need soothing right now, is our guest for today. You are in for a treat. Now, in order to make sure we had no sync or video delays or bad audio, because a lot of this is all about the audio coming from Turkey, we taped our interview earlier today. And so this was just taped a few hours ago. And I'm going to roll it, and it speaks for itself, and I hope you enjoy it. And my guest for today is Andrew Katrubis from New Hampshire. Andrew is a freelance musician and cellist, currently living abroad studying folk music and Eastern European medieval music. Educated at Longy School of Music of Bard College in Cambridge, Massachusetts, Andrew has performed around America and abroad in ensembles, small and large, in villages and metropolitan cities, concert halls, and yes, on the streets. So now, all the way from Alanya, Turkey, let's bring Andrew in. And hello, Andrew.
Hello, Steve. How you doing?
Doing very well. It's the miracle of the internet that we're able to pull this off. But you're looking good. And
Thanks. You too.
I thought it might be, we're saying you're coming from Alanya, Turkey. It's enough for people to understand their map logic and knowledge to know even where Turkey is. And I'm sure some people couldn't quickly even put a finger on it if they had a map you've got 5 seconds. Where's Turkey?
Sure.
But let alone to say, okay, find Istanbul, or how about finding Alanya? So I thought the audience might like to see a map, and I'm going to bring that up for a second, and I'm going to bring it there.
Mhm.
So, Andrew, tell me, that little red pin is where you are right now.
That's right. So
And-
as you can kind of see, it's the southern coast of Turkey. It's north of Cyprus, which is that little island there, and it's a beautiful little city. It's not quite a city, but it's bigger than a town. It's one of those places. So, yeah.
Wonderful. Well, we'll get into a little bit more about why you're there and what your journey has been in terms of your study abroad right now. But what I'd love to do is, as we do with all our guests, before we get into their performance, which you have set for us, which we're all eager to hear, but we love to get to know really what the background, your background is, and how you came to have such a passion for music, a passion for that instrument that is beside you there. Why don't you give us a little bit, starting with, where you're born, growing up, schools, how you were attracted to music, when did you first start learning music, things like that.
Sure. So I was born in Nashua, New Hampshire. One of the, again, kind of like Alanya, not quite a city, but bigger than a town. It's a city for New Hampshire, but I was born in Nashua, and the way I got so deeply involved with music was when I was very young. When I was in grade school, I was really having a lot of trouble, disciplinary trouble, you could say, and I was always in trouble, basically. My parents pulled me out of the public school system when I was in the 4th grade, sent me to a private school where I learned how to play the cello. I sort of had to choose a stringed instrument, and I was fortunate enough to have some really spectacular teachers, music teachers, while I was going to that private school, which is Pine Hill Waller School in Wilton. And I'll forever be indebted to those teachers there that brought music into my life. After Pine Hill, I ended up going to the public school in Wilton. It was the cooperative. So I was living in Lineborough, very small town in New Hampshire, and going to the public school in Wilton, where again I had a wonderful music teacher, Mrs. Nancy Tong, who's now retired, but she really pushed me to get me involved in with various different ensembles and orchestras in New Hampshire, and got me involved with the Nashua community, the Nashua Chamber Orchestra rather, and New Hampshire All-State and Solo and Ensemble Strings Festival, which led me to audition for the New Hampshire Philharmonic. And so I played with them for a while I was in high school. And then I ended up at Longy, where I had just a wonderful time learning more than I thought there was to learn, and particularly fell in love with early music and historical performance. I had spectacular teachers and professors there that just opened up this whole new world of historical performance, and looking at medieval music, Baroque music, and trying to recreate it in a historically accurate way. And the theme is good teachers.
Yeah, that always makes a difference.
Yeah. So, and most of us musicians, to some degree, we sort of accept that teaching is part of the vocation. So I'm certainly doing all the teaching I can right now, even abroad here in Turkey, teaching cello lessons on Zoom, and it's actually going better than I initially expected it to go. So
now you're teaching because I know you were teaching when you were here in the U.S.
Right.
At what school were you teaching? Was it your old
So,
school?
Yeah, I actually was the music teacher at Pine Hill where I had learned to play. So I really did. It was this full circle thing. In the economic crisis of 2007, 2008, the Pine Hill School had to let go most music teachers that they had. In fact, if not all of them, I think. And I was one of the first music teachers that they had hired back on since that happened. And I really kind of felt a personal responsibility to go there and try to get something going. Since I had been given so much by the teachers at that school, and I felt an obligation to the students there now to sort of pay it forward. Yeah, I did that for a couple years, and really felt the beckon of the road after a while. And I learned of some opportunities to study folk music in Greece, in a small village in Crete, which I did last year. And so I had to depart Pine Hill and just sort of see the world a little bit.
Wow. With the obviously, with thank God for Zoom and the, not only because of COVID, but in this particular case, with you being overseas,
Mm-hmm.
who are your students from over in the U.S. that you're teaching?
Yeah, they are. They're all based in the U.S., which is just cool in itself to
Sure.
connect with people back home, and just even simple things like how's the weather, back in New Hampshire, and it snowed today for the first time, whatever, and so that's really nice. And I'm teaching some of my former students too, it's been really nice to connect with them too.
Well, we want to get to hear you perform. I should also say, full disclosure, Andrew has played for my wife Lisa and I multiple times, including our engagement and our wedding. He's also performed here at the Park Theater's River Street Theater. So we have a lot of connections with Andrew, and certainly he has performed in Jaffrey at the First Church of Jaffrey many times as well for special holiday events and weddings and other events as well, and working with the musical director there of the church, Gene Faxon. And
I love Gene.
I know. I think Gene will be tuning in right now. I had sent Gene an email, and he said, I've already been contacted. Andrew's going to be on the show. So
I sent Gene a personal email.
Yeah, good. Well, I think you've got a lot of fans here who will be tuning in tonight. And, or I should say right now, but we are taping this. Well, wonderful. You've told me that you want to, I'm going to kind of turn the show over to Andrew for his performance. You've told me you're going to be performing 3 styles of historical music styles from different periods. And so I am just going to go to the background and for those 3 segments and be an audience member and enjoy what you do so beautifully. And so I'm Andrew, take it away, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Andrew Katrubis.
Thanks so much, Steve. I've sort of put together a short little program here that's going to come to you in kind of 3 chunks. The first group of pieces were written in the 13th and the 12th centuries, and they are the first 2 parts of the play of Daniel, Ludus Danielis, which, I mentioned that I've fallen in love with the study of historical music and old music, and trying to recreate this music in a historically accurate way. But I must confess that we are now going to depart from that idea, because of course it's not historically accurate to play this music on the cello. But right now I just don't care, because I'm really loving this music, and it's just such wonderful music, and the cello is what I have. I don't speak Latin, so I'm not going to sing this music, but this music would be sung. It's music from, as I said, the play of Daniel. So this is a biblical story that was set to music by the young students in a monastery in Beauvais, France. And I looked up the English translation of the text of this play, and I just loved the introduction of it, which says it's something like glory to Christ, and we bring you this play of Daniel, and the young people wrote it. And for some reason, that just hit me so hard. I felt like I was being connected with the young people of the 13th century through this sort of immortal work of theirs. So that was about 2 weeks ago that I stumbled across that, and so I've sort of arranged from the beautiful manuscript. Original manuscript of this music that I got access to through the National Library of England, I think it was. Just this gorgeous manuscript, and I've sort of made my own arrangement of it for solo cello. I'll play this introduction and then a chorus that comes right after it. That's just sort of this really cool repeating sequence that you'll hear. And then I'm going to play a piece called Ashantar. It's called more than Ashantar, but the title is rather long, and it's in the Occitan language, which I'm not going to attempt. That is a song written by a troubadour, which is a French traveling minstrel, basically from the south of France. This woman's name was Comtesse de Dia. Maybe her name was Beatrice de Dia. And this is a song about unrequited love, as was made popular by the Occitan troubadours. And it's just gorgeous, and I thought that it kind of went along well with this play of Daniel music. So I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. So the next group of tunes that I'd like to play for you are three beautiful Celtic tunes. I'm not sure if one of them would really qualify as Celtic. It's written by John Playford from England. So I don't know. I think though England, Scotland, Ireland, that whole part of the world, to me as an ignorant New Hampshireite, I guess, as I am, is Celtic-ish. So the three pieces are a really nice short dance from the English dancing master by John Playford called the Beggar Boy. And I've sort of made an arrangement of this for solo cello here. I've used the first edition, which is just one line of music, and so I've sort of extrapolated upon that. The second piece that I'll go right into is a tune called Captain O'Kane. And it's actually originally for Celtic harp. It was composed by the famous Irish harper and composer from the Baroque time, actually, Turlough O'Carolan. And yeah, he was a blind harpist from Ireland, and he's sort of thought of as the national composer, if you will, of Ireland these days. And he's known for his beautiful, beautiful melodies. I would encourage you to look him up and listen to some of his music because it is just gorgeous music. And so I've taken a simple melody of his too, and like I did with the Playford tune, I've just sort of kind of extrapolated a bass line and some harmonies from this melody. And last tune in this little chunk will be an ancient Scottish song called She Moved Through the Fair. And not much is known about who composed it, or even when or where, but from all sources, it's considered to be a very, very old, perhaps ancient tune, so whatever that means. But it's very beautiful, and I hope you enjoy this this set of an English song, an Irish song, and a Scottish song. So the last set of tunes I'm going to be playing are three caprices by a composer named Joseph Dall'Abaco. Rather, his name is actually much longer, but or his names, I should say. But we're going to go with Joseph Dall'Abaco today. I'm going to play three caprices by Mr. Dall'Abaco and two dances by Bach, J.S. Bach, from the first cello suite. I'll play the sarabande and the gigue. And you'll notice the three caprices. Well, first of all, I'll play number 1, number 2, and number 8. And you might wonder why did I choose number 8 instead of number 3? Because that's sort of what life is feeling like right now, is that you don't know what to expect. And I kind of like the sudden shock of going from number 2 into number 8. You'll hear it. I hope you like it too. And then I'll go kind of breathlessly into the Bach pieces. And I hope you enjoy these pieces. Well, I guess a little background. Everybody knows J.S. Bach, I think. But Dall'Abaco, although he's becoming much more popular with cellists, I think, because he wrote these wonderful 11 of these wonderful caprices for cello. I think maybe most people who aren't cellists probably have never heard of him. And the little research that I've done about his life has been very interesting. The first thing is his age, is that he was at the ripe old age of 95 years old when he died in 1810, or 1805 rather. He was born in 1710 and died in 1805. So this is just, for somebody who studies music, it's very interesting to come across this composer who lived during the end of the Baroque period, was sort of the forerunner of the Galant period, which was sort of in between Baroque and classical, and then into the beginning of the Romantic era even. So these pieces, you could say they're Baroque because they're in the Baroque style, but they're not quite Baroque. They're a little, they're innovative in ways that you'll hear, there's sort of these jarring moments in the harmonies, but it's very beautiful music too, and I hope you enjoy it. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed those three groups of pieces from three different, completely different places and eras. And it's been such a pleasure to be able to perform for you all.
Well, I got to first just a bravo and so so beautiful, Andrew. I mean, you are brilliant at this. You really is, and you really are, and this is why we love him, and why so many people love Andrew. First as a person, but certainly his talent is remarkable. One thing, as you know, you're talking about the history of these pieces. you're talking about the history of these pieces, especially the lesser known pieces. I mean, you kind of sound like the Sherlock Holmes of ancient music. How do you investigate what, it sounds like it's beyond a hobby, but it's at least a hobby in terms of ferreting out and finding these pieces of music that are not played that often, and so I'd love to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, sure. Well, it may, it may seem like it to people who are less familiar with medieval music, which I would assume would be most people, including myself until very recently. But actually, there's an immense amount of scholarly work and research that's been done when it comes to classical music. I was just looking at just a list of troubadours just from France, from southern France. Maybe it was southern and northern France, but thousands of medieval troubadours with extant manuscripts. So it's pretty amazing. There's a lot of material to pour through, and there's surprisingly a pretty flourishing community of people that are dedicated to doing that, and which is a huge benefit to me because I'm more, I guess, geared towards performing than the scholarly part of things. The research for me, it's very interesting, but I'm not good at writing.
You follow a trail. Where you see trails, you follow.
Yeah, sure,
well,
sure.
Why then the trail that got you to the medieval music of Eastern Europe? What motivated you to move that way?
Sure. Well, I had been. My interest was first piqued in this music of Eastern Europe from the medieval ages when I went to that village in Crete and took this folk music seminar that I mentioned actually at the beginning of our talk. And I actually have the instrument here that I'm learning to play, and it's this sort of pear-shaped fiddle. I got really interested into, this is a Cretan lyra, and I got really interested in where this came from. One really interesting thing about this instrument is it's a stringed instrument. It looks like you would just put your fingers down on the strings like any other stringed instrument, but actually this instrument, you actually touch the side of the strings with your fingernails, which is, I had never heard of that before. And I was just intrigued and wanted to know, like, what were the origins of this instrument. And it led me to Persian music, Arabic music, and then led me to China, actually, and now I'm looking at some of the earliest bowed stringed instruments that ever existed coming from China. And then I got interested in sort of I guess the trade routes. How are people and music and ideas and instruments migrating from east to west? And I was sort of led to Constantinople, which I started reading about. And another thing was that for the past 2 months I've been living here in Alanya within sight of a castle.
The folk music of Turkey.
Yeah, and I actually sort of stumbled into the Turkish folk music when I was looking for a cello, like nonstop, just scouring the area trying to find a cello, which I finally found. But first, I found this instrument, which was remarkably like this instrument in some ways. This instrument is much more recent, actually. This is the Turkish people call this a Comanche. In Greek cultures, it's known as a Pontian lyra. So it sort of comes from this family of instruments, this lyra family, which, by the way, you can find sort of transmutations of this pear-shaped roundback fiddle all over Europe, especially in the Slavic countries, and it's possibly the forerunner, or the predecessor of all, most bowed instruments. I would, I would, yes. But yeah, I actually I picked this up in a music store while I was looking for a cello, like I said, for the equivalent of $10 or so.
Now, is that an antique or is it new?
It's definitely new, and you can, or I can tell it. It's right in front of me here, and I can see all of the little imperfections and blemishes in the craftsmanship, actually, which makes me think this is truly a folk instrument. Yeah. It's built by somebody local that is not a master craftsman. Yeah. Probably isn't making these things probably isn't their real occupation, which is actually more interesting to me than if I were to come across some amazing, really expensive whatever. But yeah, this is, I think, new, and you can tell it's a very simple little thing. It's not complicated whatsoever, but yeah. And I also picked up a little songbook. Eastern music and Turkish music in particular is so vastly different from the Western music tradition. They where we have eight steps in a scale, 8 tones in a scale, and they have something like 56. So they're using not to say that whenever you play a scale you're playing 56 different notes, but that's the division of they have much smaller divisions of tones, which is and they have these very complicated systems called the makam, where each note has a name for 2 octaves. So in Western music, we would say a C here, and then a C in a different octave is still a C. But no, in Eastern music and Turkish music, Arabic music, they've got 2 different names, which is incredibly interesting. But but I've been sawing away on this little thing, practicing some Turkish folk music here, and I've got this really short little tune here that I'll play for you so you can hear.
Excellent. Let's hear it. Wow.
So there it is.
Wow. What a very distinct, kind of little, very high pitch to it. And
yeah, very high pitch, very tinny and
tinny sound. Yeah.
Yeah, it maybe was, we had the microphone here calibrated for the low, deep, mellow sound of the cello, and maybe that was too much. I don't know. I hope not. But yeah, the instrument is played near the Black Sea, actually, not in this area. Actually, northern Turkey. So it was kind of unusual coming across it here.
What is your schedule on the current future, and then what's on the horizon when you return to America? So where are you? You've told me that you're hoping to get to Russia from Turkey. Right. COVID is making it hard for you, as anyone traveling anywhere in the world, let alone the U.S., as we know. But so what's on the schedule prior to returning to the U.S.?
So I am in fact trying to go to Russia. It's I'm starting to understand the woes of my foreign friends who have had to go through the whole immigration process to stay in the U.S. longer. I never had to, of course, do that before, but now I'm understanding how much of a nightmare it can really be, for international travel when it comes to visas and stuff. I'm going to Russia mostly for personal reasons, and then I'm going to be. I'm really excited to come back to the U.S. though to continue my studies at the Laundry School in Cambridge, where I have an unfinished graduate degree, and to keep digging deeper down into this rabbit hole of early music, medieval music, Baroque music, and play and perform more around New Hampshire and New England.
Well, it's a beautiful rabbit hole that you've got. It's amazing stuff. I know that folks, we're coming to the end, and I know to contact you, you have a Facebook page, which if they search Andrew Katrubis, and I have it up there, I think they'll find you pretty easily on Facebook. You have a distinctive last name. And then I'm going to put up, people can, this is just going to scroll for a while, but if this is your website, andrewkatrubis.wixsite.com/cello. So
yeah.
I'll let it spin through a few times as we're saying goodbye here.
Yeah, and there's a contact form on there too, where you can.
You got a contact form. So
on that website, there's a contact form. Yeah.
Well, folks, we know one thing. If you need lessons, or if you have a child or a grandchild, and I would say, boy, that sounds like a good holiday gift, isn't it? And who's got their teacher coming from Turkey or Russia? I'd say you can't ask for much more than that, and they speak your language. But contact Andrew, and you'll certainly through Facebook see what's going on. His travels as well as his schedule, moving around the world. Well, we can't thank you enough, Andrew, for being with us and for giving that incredible mini concert of musical styles. And it really is really amazing, but it speaks to the incredible, huge talent that you have. And you keep,
thanks so much, Steve.
You keep honing it and learning more. You're obviously a sponge for learning, and you keep doing it, and you bring wonderful things like the instruments. You're going to be packing a lot of instruments to bring home.
Yeah, I know. That's we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Boy, but what an adventure to bring all that back. Well, we all here in the United States, we miss you, number one, and we wish you the best in the remaining part of your journeys. Turkey and Russia and onward, and your musical journey doing it as well. So thank you again for joining us on Monadnock Tonight.
It was such a pleasure.
Hope to see you soon.
Great. Thanks a lot, Steve. Right. Great night, everybody.
Bye-bye. Well, I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did making it, listening to it earlier this afternoon. Another reason why, because of sync problems, of course, the time right now in Alanya is 2:11 a.m. So another reason why we taped earlier in the day, technical, to try to keep the technical ahead of ourselves, but also because of the time change that he has over in Turkey. But you can't say enough. I mean, what a talented, passionate, wonderful young man, and just a good friend, a good man, and a good person. And we love it. We love you, Andrew, out there. And you had a lot of fans watching you tonight. He'll be watching. I don't know if he was watching it live. I don't think so. But he'll be watching it. Always archived. Remind everyone on Facebook and on Park YouTube at YouTube. You can watch them later or share it with friends. Please do. ParkYouTube.com gets you right there to our page of shows. And this show will certainly be at the top. Very quick, and we're wrapping up. I know we went long, but for what we just heard and saw, there's no better reason to go long on a show. What's coming up next week? Well, it's Thanksgiving next week, so we're not going to be on the air. But the week after that, we have that man to the side there is Mr. Steve Pelkey. And on Thursday, December 3rd, our only guest, he is the CEO and artistic director of Atlas Pyrovision Entertainment. And he will tell you everything there is to know about fireworks because he knows. And if you've seen fireworks in our area, Steve's company has almost most definitely put them on. But if you've been in Boston, New York, he does them all over the world. But he'll talk about pyrotechnics, and he's always so knowledgeable about that. I'm sure he'll have great stories to tell us. He is also putting the group together for the 250th anniversary of Jaffrey 250, which is coming up in a couple of years. So great show, December 3rd, Mr. Steve Pelkey. Next we have going on, I just don't want anyone to forget because it is the holiday season and we still have seats that can be sponsored and named. Please go to park-2020.com. Park 20. It's over in the scrolling comments section. You're going to see either on YouTube, you'll see it on Facebook, you'll see it. Where to go? Park-2020.com. The seats are all installed now. We're getting ready to engrave the seat names, but there are still several dozen seats left. And there couldn't be a greater gift to give in the honor of someone for your own family, for your company, your organization, your class of 69, class of 75. There's so many ways you can do it, and it will help us immensely as we get prepared to open the new theater. And with that, I'm going to say we're getting ready to say goodbye. I do like to remind folks that if you'd ever like to sponsor the program, you can help underwrite it. We're on once a week, every week, live here with Monadnock Tonight. If you have questions about the show, if you'd like a guest, if you have someone like Andrew Katrubis that you'd like to have on the show, let us know about that person. Email us at parktv@theparktheater.org, or you can call us at the office Monday through Friday, 532-9300, 539-200. So if you want to know about a sponsorship or you have questions, give us a holler. We would love to chat with you. And especially from what I said in the beginning of the show, we say this at the end of every one of our shows, but it's even more meaningful of what we're going through right now in our own state, but which is at its worst, sadly at its worst, but also everyone and the first responders and nurses and doctors and essential workers, telling everyone out there, please be safe, wear a mask as the governor has asked and mandated starting tomorrow. Be healthy, always be kind to everyone, and be hopeful because we can do this. This is Steve Jackson signing off, again thanking the amazing Andrew Katrubis for joining us today from Alanya, Turkey. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you so much. And we will see you. Happy Thanksgiving, and we will see you in 2 weeks. So please have a great Thanksgiving, everyone.